When I was a young engineering student at the University of Texas, one of my professors gave us a lecture on the poor man's patent. Now, the way the poor man's patent worked as he described it was that you would write your invention down on a piece of paper, and you would place the piece of paper carefully into an envelope. You would write your address on the envelope, put a stamp on it, and drop it in the mail. And when the envelope came back to you, you wouldn't open the envelope, but instead you would put the envelope in a safe place. And I imagined a dusty old file cabinet or an old antique desk somewhere. And the idea is that you wouldn't touch the envelope until you had to prove in court that you were the true inventor of whatever invention was inside the envelope. So that's the poor man's patent. In this video, we're going to talk about the poor man's patent and explore whether such a thing really exists. Hi, my name is Carr Ferrell. I'm a Silicon Valley patent attorney. Welcome back to my channel. According to my professor, this was the poor man's patent. You stick your invention in an envelope, put it away, don't touch it until you need it, and that's proof that you were the true inventor based on the postmark on your envelope. Well, as an underfunded young engineering student, this seemed like a really clever idea to me. Excellent engineering design, and I could almost afford the cost of the stamp. But I have to tell you that years later, as a grizzled lawyer with scars on my back having filed and fought over patents and inventions, I can't imagine going into court with a client holding an unopened envelope, with a jury waiting with bated breath for my client to open the envelope and to read the invention that's included inside. It might make for good television, but it makes for horrible lawyering, and I'm pretty sure I'd be disappointed with whatever he or she read. But in the day, I would recommend, instead of writing your invention down on a piece of paper and sticking it inside of an envelope, just to keep an inventor's notebook. Write your inventions down, occasionally maybe have a friend or someone that you're working with sign the notebook just to attest the fact that the date is correct. But just recording the invention was sufficient enough. But you have to understand that those were earlier days. The law changed in 2013 from a first to invent system, where the first person to invent would get the patent, to a first to file system, where essentially we have a race to the patent office. Whoever files their invention first gets the benefit of the protective patent. So if the lab notebook of days gone by was your poor man's patent, then what is the poor man's patent of today? Well, by far the very best protection that you can get now is to file a provisional patent application. A provisional patent application really is pretty economical. The cost to file a provisional patent application with the USPTO is only $75 if you're a micro entity. It's only $150 if you're a small entity. And the provisional patent application is good for a year. It gives you the priority date of when you submitted your provisional patent application to the patent office for recording. And the provisional patent application is pretty easy to prepare. It's something you could probably do yourself. Now, unfortunately, the provisional patent application really isn't the poor man's patent. It's a placeholder. It gives you the priority date of when you submitted your invention to the patent office, but it's only good for 1 year. You have to convert the provisional patent application to a regular patent application within 12 months of the priority date. And if you miss that 12-month anniversary, you lose the priority. You lose the right to claim that date of your invention. Now, I wish I could tell you that there was a cheap way to file a non-provisional patent application. But once the provisional patent application runs out in 12 months, then you're going to have to decide, is it worthwhile to file a regular application? And there really isn't a good do-it-yourself method of filing your own non-provisional patent application. You see, the whole point of the patent system is to encourage creative people to take their ideas and to write them down and record them for future generations to use. Essentially, in exchange for taking the time and trouble and money of writing down your invention and submitting it to the patent office, the government gives you the right to exclude others from making, using, or selling your invention for 20 years. Now, the problem with this exchange, that is writing down your invention in exchange for the monopoly, is that the government doesn't want to have a lot of duplicate inventions in the patent office. They're only going to give exclusionary monopolies for new, useful, and non-obvious ideas. And so when you submit your patent application, when you submit your written invention to the patent office, they're going to examine it to make sure that somebody else hasn't previously submitted the same invention and has an exclusionary monopoly on their prior invention. And this makes a lot of sense. We don't want two people to have an exclusionary monopoly on the same idea. But like with many dealings with the government, the process can be tedious and drawn out. There's lots of rules and regulations. It's very process driven, and it's really helpful to have a professional working with you through the process. Now, that's not to say that as an individual inventor, you can't do it yourself. In fact, the Patent Office has a program to help individual inventors work their way through the process without legal representation. Examiners are trained to help individual inventors and will really bend over backwards if you're an individual inventor submitting and prosecuting your own patent application through the office. However, you have to understand that the job of the examiner is to examine your invention. So the idea that a patent examiner is going to help you as a small inventor or a solo inventor receive broad patent protection for your invention is probably a little wishful thinking. It's just not in the mindset of a patent examiner to help you craft and draft broad patent claims describing your invention. That said, however, if you don't have the resources to have a professional help you with the patent process, it's good to know that at least it's possible to get help from the examiner to get your patent application allowed. Now, you might consider some middle ground where you draft your own patent application and get the help of a patent professional to help you with the patent claims and to review your patent application and make sure that it's complete. And then once you submit the application and go through the prosecution, the examination process, have the resources of a professional you can check in with and just bounce ideas off of, maybe get a little bit of help. Even a couple of hours of attorney time during the process will probably help a lot, rather than just going completely on your own. So in sum, I guess I would just have to say there's no such thing as a poor man's or a poor person's patent or patent application. It's possible to file an application inexpensively, that is, through the provisional patent application process. But getting a utility patent application prepared, filed, and prosecuted in the patent office is a real chore, and it's hard to do that without spending some money. Okay, that's really all I have today to say about the poor man's patent. If you have some ideas on how to save money in patent prosecution, would love to hear about them in the comments section below. Thank you so much for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you next time.